How's it going, guys, and welcome to Game Involved. I'm Shifty Cow, and as you can probably tell by the intro, we're going to be running with the Spanish Soldier Loadout. So before we get into it, I just want to say that I know pretty much nothing about the Spanish soldiers or Spanish army, and I haven't fact-checked any of this, so I'm just going to be making it up as I go. So this was actually suggested by Dr. Cauliflower. I think that's how you say it, but if you'd like to leave your own loadout, you can do so in the comments below, and we're going to give it a try. So let's just hop right into it and start off by going with the Assault class. So for our primary weapon, we went with the G36 carbine, which is a very interesting weapon. We slapped on a hollow sight, a laser-like combo, and then we went with no grip and no barrel. So moving on to our secondary, we used the Compact 45, which is supposed to be the USP, but they're pretty much the same weapon, along with a light, or as they called it, a lantern. And also we're going to be running with the M320HE, which is really good for taking out infantry, kind of. And also the medkit small bag, because you have to properly diagnose your soldiers, otherwise they're going to get the wrong treatment and die in battles. So the rest of the loadout's pretty standard. The bayonet and the M67 grenade, along with the defensive field upgrade. So he says the G36C is used by ground forces in Spain with the USP 45 from H&K. We use grenade launchers and kits for our mates if necessary. Have a nice day. And I have to say, I had a damn nice day, and this loadout is actually really fun to use. When I first started using it, I was absolutely hating the G36C, because really when you look at its stats, it is not a top tier weapon. It's something that's really enjoyable to use and very fulfilling, but honestly, when it comes to actually like try-harding and trying to play the objective really heavily, you're just going to get outgunned by a lot of different weapons. So moving away from all the boring stuff and stats and all that type of stuff that you guys probably already know, we're going to be talking about this gun's amazing history. So as I said, this is the Spanish loadout, and in Spain they actually call this weapon the El Pollo Feo because it means the feared wolf, and that's just an incredible thing because this is a really powerful weapon, and it was actually developed in 1832 by the first Spanish person to actually immigrate into Norway. So that's a really interesting fact, and I hope you guys didn't know that because it's really cool to actually look up all this type of stuff. But the G36 in Battlefield 4 really isn't represented quite as well. It does have some decent stats, but overall it just doesn't quite make sense with the recoil pattern because it seems like something that you want to be able to full auto at range just because it has a very low damage rate and it really just kind of drops off and has a very odd recoil pattern that really prevents you from doing this. So you really have to tap fire or just get very lucky and hope that someone doesn't have a faster shooting weapon in close range, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to get completely shredded if your accuracy is the same as the person you're fighting. So moving on to the USP, or the Universal Self-Loading Pistol as it translates to English, this was actually developed by the Germans, and it was so valuable and so technologically advanced, it was actually stolen by the Spaniards. That's actually how they got it and how they put it into their military, is they invaded the town of Berlin and they surrounded it by 7,000 bulls all armed in horse armor. So it's a really awesome story, and if you guys do want to read it, I'm going to leave a link in the description below, just kind of citing all my sources. But in Battlefield 4, the USP is actually a very solid weapon. It's got some pretty standard damage, accuracy, and fire rate, and I think it does shoot a little bit slower than things like the M9 or the P226, but I think it also has a little bit more damage, although I might be mistaken on that. But overall, it feels really nice. I don't have any complaints about it, and it's overall just a really nice weapon. And I keep saying overall, so overall. So moving on to the M320 Noob Tube, this was a pretty decent gadget, but I'm not sure I would ever give it up for a defibrillator because the M320 tends to be pretty inconsistent when it comes to killing power. Sometimes you'll hit someone right at the feet and it should do a lot of splash damage as they're designed to do, but really you get a lot of hit markers with this thing. I'm not sure if it's been nerfed since launch, even though I think that's probably what happened, but right now there's only 3 grenades that you get with it, and you rarely get the chance of a one-shot kill unless they're either already hurt or you get like a direct impact. So it was really fun to actually use this thing, but there was some very annoying moments where I would hit someone almost directly and get a hit marker and then have to like finish them off with the G36. So it's kind of annoying to use, but it's also fun at the same time and just fulfilling overall. But I'm not sure that I would ever use something like this over the defibrillator, solely because you can't revive your buddies and play the objective quite as much. But overall it was fun to use and I did enjoy my time. Finally, we have the small med bag, which honestly, I cannot remember what they actually put into this game that rebalanced it with the big med bag. I remember they did a bunch of different adjustments with suppression, and it used to be for a little while where if you were suppressed and you had the big med bag, it wouldn't heal you for like 10 seconds, and then everyone hated that, and people were burning down buildings, and then DICE had to come in and do all this stuff to kind of like fix it. And I can't actually remember if any of this still stays in the game. Like, maybe it's on CTE, maybe it's like slightly better during suppression, but first of all, every time I throw down a large med bag, it always heals me, pretty much. And then whenever I was slowing this down, it pretty much same effect. It would only do one person at a time though, and you could actually run away from it, which was kind of cool. But if you are, you know, trying to heal up, you're not just going to run back into the action. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So it's pretty much common knowledge by now that the big med bag is far superior in nearly every single way to the small med bag, and once you unlock that, it's pretty much set in stone that you need to use that. You don't need to run with both, you don't need to run with the small one, just go with the big one and stop trying to be a little bitch. So anyways guys, that's pretty much it for this loadout. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you do have your own loadout you'd like us to try, be sure to leave that down in the comments below and we'll possibly make a video on it. Be sure to drop a like as it really helps us out. Subscribe if you haven't already, because that's just awesome. And until next time guys, stay buttery.